Something that you're going to start to realize when you get in your 40s. And what you'll start to realize is that life is not as long as you think it is. I say that because you wake up in the morning, like I did 2 days ago, and I woke up to a RIP. I woke up to that RIP and I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm seeing things. Sadly, that RIP that I seen was a classmate that I used to go to school with. This was, you know what I mean? I graduated the class of 98. So that classmate is damn near a year older than me or around my same age, depending on what, you know what I mean, how old he was when he graduated. And what's wild is I seen him a year ago, ran into him inside of a store. It's crazy. So when you see these things, you also sit back and you say to yourself, yo,
Keep it warm.
Right? It's that wind chill today to get you.
Yeah, the wind. That's what's up today.
The sun makes it seem like it's warmer than it is.
Yeah.
What a place.
So what's your name, man?
My name's Danny.
I know you. You don't know me.
Man, hell yeah! Joe, what the fuck? What, bro? Goddamn, hell yeah, I know you.
Man, you know what?
DJ Shoes. Shoes we heard. Oh, bro, wait till I tell you.
I can't believe you remember that, man.
Hell yeah.
being in your 40s will give you a wake-up call and a reality check. That reality check is not a reality check that make you sit back and say, oh, I'm living wrong. It's a reality check to make you realize that, yo, this life is not promised. You don't know when the time you up, and you don't know how long you're going to be here. Like, your time can be up at any moment. It's the same thing that you kind of look at when you look at life and you say to yourself, yo, how is it that I'm 19 years old or 15 and I lose my best friend and they're 15 or 14? It ain't fair. Well, we live in a world where as though nothing is fair. Nothing has a time limit that make you think that somebody should be here a lot longer or shorter. You just don't know. So if you don't know, then you got to move efficiently. You got to be smarter out here. And when I say smarter, you got to live. I think that's the one thing I'm starting to realize being in my 40s, that you really do have to live. If you're going to take a trip, you got to take that trip. If you're going to go ahead and you're going to spend more time doing more things and activities with your family, do it. But remember one thing, as you start to get older, things are about spending time and making memories, but it's more so taking care of your own well-being. You got some people out here that don't have families. Then what you tell them? They ain't living because they don't have a family? No. They got to worry about for self, which means that their options is unlimited. And I'm going to tell you why. When you think of a family, you're taking care of your family, so you got to worry about their well-being. You got to worry about your kids. You got to worry about your wife. You got to worry about your grandma, your aunts. Like you don't have to, but most likely a lot of times, especially as a man, a lot of times you're worrying about those things because you caring and you love them. But when you don't have no family, then it becomes endless because you can take trips anywhere. You don't have a care in the world. When I say a care, I'm not talking about you don't care about people. I'm talking about you don't have a care for worrying about the well-being of others that you have to take care of, because you're only worrying about you because you're the only person your money is being spent on. You have endless ways that you can spend your life. You can go to Italy. You can go to anywhere. You can go to Brazil. You know, Colombia. It's funny. I'm mentioning all the places that got nice looking women. I'm just saying it's on my mind. But it just make you understand and realize that, yo, this life that we live in right now, you can't really just live life for others. You realizing now, once you get to a certain point of your life, some of you found out in your 50s. I'm just happy that I found out a lot earlier than, you know what I mean? I don't want to be that old man walking around, can't get around, and then I realize, man, I got to start living. Damn, half of my body is damn near out of order. That's why a lot of times, man, we got to start taking our health more serious. Because at the end of the day, once you start going downhill, health declines. Who you have there for you? Yourself. It's funny, like when I think about this, I remember my grandpa, my mom's father. I remember going to see my grandma when she was in the home. Now my grandmama's not in the home now. And it's crazy because my grandmama's still going strong. But she was she was put in a home temporarily after she lost her legs. And now she gets around good in a wheelchair and everything and lives alone. But this is my story. I went to the home and I found out that my grandpa was there. Now, mind you, I don't want to get into how I did not know my grandpa was there. It's my mom's dad, so you already know that their relationship was shaky. But me and my grandpa relationship wasn't shaky. But he was not. Hey, he was a street hustler, big time street hustler. And with doing that street hustling, it's no retirement package. So him going in and out of jail, and then him being on the block hustling all the time. Eventually, as you get older, age catches up with you. Being outside on the block all the time, it's not a cute thing, but it's also a young man's game. That's probably why we see so many young men getting killed. So as I start to reflect on those years and being in my 40s now, I realized that my grandpa didn't have nobody. And I realized that when I went to go see him. Every time I went to see my grandma, I spent more time with him. And it dawned on me that my mom was only been in there maybe once or twice and only stayed in there for maybe about a minute or two. And she forcefully did it. She did it because subconsciously she was just like, well, this is my dad. Let me just go in here at least. And the sad part about it is my grandpa was not there for his daughter, which means my mom grew up with just nothing but women. So her viewpoints were way different. That's why my mom was always mad aggressive, didn't know how to talk to men. And I get that. I get it. I get it, because as you get older, you understand the ignorance that happens in the household, why boys sometimes start to look at other men differently until we start getting older. And then we're starting to be treated the same way as our grandpops or our dads. And we like, oh, I get it now. I get why they didn't stay around. But I'm not looking to really talk about that. It just made me realize that, because when I sat down in the hospital room with him, or the home, I realized that he had sores. And I said something to the nurse, and I said, look, I'm gonna start coming here, and I'm gonna start just making sure he good. And I ain't say that I was threatening him or anything. I just said that. And next thing you know, they came in, they started changing them and stuff, and I started noticing something. I realized, as you start to get older, if you don't have people around, I don't care who they are, if you don't have people to come and check up on you, if you get to those points of your life, people will let you just dwindle away, and next thing you know, you're gone. You're no longer here. And it's sad because some people end up becoming lonely. Lonely and alone is two different things. So I don't want you to conflate them and think they're the same. They're not. If you're lonely, that means you're hurt, you're broken. When you're alone, that means you choose to be. I'm one of the ones that are alone. I choose to be. I picked peace. And I realized that too in my 40s. I'd rather have peace. Just because you're going through a divorce don't always mean you're sad about it. And it don't always mean that, you in the most joyful experience. At the end of the day, it's still a failure, but it's not really a failure of life. It's just a failure of a relationship. It has nothing to do with your kids. A lot of times people like to put that type of situation and stress on a parent to say, man, you failed your kids. No, you didn't. If you're two active parents and y'all know how to respect each other, then the kid has it. He has a good relationship with mom and dad. But at the same time, you'll realize once you're in your 40s that you start to understand life a lot more. You start to understand the importance of just doing the things that make you happy. I know a lot of times they push the narrative that men shouldn't be happy, like we should make sure our happiness come last. I beg to differ. That's probably why we see so many men dying of heart attacks and dying and clocking out of here early. And then all of a sudden you see men start to move with their own authority. All of a sudden you start seeing them live more. That's the thing that's being hateful now. When you start to see people, I'm going to just say people, women and men. We starting to see women starting to have their own. I'm going to just say, you might see miserable, but at the same time, you start to see some of them seem like they're happy. I'm going to say it for the men. I can tell you, I can speak for a man. When men have their own, they feel good going home. Reason why? Because men always need peace. Peace to be able to think, peace to be able to guide ourselves in the right direction, and peace to be able to understand where our money and our resources is being spent at, because we make that decision. Please don't fall victim to society and thinking that you got to cripple yourself to a relationship. If you are in a relationship, stay in it, especially if you're happy. Or with family. Family can be the biggest downfall to you because they might depend on you and kill your resources. Don't allow anybody to use you out here. But you will notice as you start to get older, and I realized this in my late 30s, but I say 40s because I'm in my 40s. And in my 40s, I now start to understand things way different than what I did when I was in my 20s, my teens, even in my mid 30s. And I realize now in my 40s what I like and what I don't like. Don't just tolerate anything. You tolerate anything, people will do anything to you. And then you'll fall victim to society and make you think that you're a failure. You're not. Be on your grind. Like and subscribe.